You've probably have heard of the television series on ABC called What Would You Do? And if you're not familiar with it, it's a show that sets up everyday scenarios and reflects on how people react to these situations. There was one segment where they had a man pretending to abuse a woman, and in another segment they decided to reverse the roles and see how people would react to a woman abusing a man. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you that segment and give you my commentary on it. So, roll the video.
I'm going to do that again so I can track you down again, so I can find you again. Sit there.
That really hurts. Stop.
We've seen what people do when a woman is abused by a man.
Stop.
Sit there.
Stop.
Sit there.
You look like a psychotic person.
But we wondered, what would happen if we reversed the sexes? What if the victim were a man and the abuser a woman?
Huh? You want to start with me?
This time she plays the aggressor, verbally and physically abusing her boyfriend.
How's that? How's that?
Women abusing, even assaulting their male partners. Not as isolated as you might think.
I hate you!
From Moonstruck to Shakespeare in Love to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Huh, I always say Caribbean. Anyway, yes, you find women hitting men in many different movie genres, even in comedies. Women hitting men is funny and entertaining. In movies, violence against women is usually done behind closed doors, and you mainly see it happening in horror movies. Certainly not in comedies. Violence against women is not funny, but violence against men certainly can be.
Women hitting men may be a Hollywood staple, but it's not just in the movies. Major League pitcher Chuck Finley's wife, actress Tawny Kitaen, was arrested and briefly jailed after he accused her of pummeling him. She denied it and charges were dropped, but only after she agreed to attend anger management classes.
No, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, alright, we believe you. You're a woman. Drop the charges. Maybe you can take some anger management classes.
Again, psychology professor Carrie Keating.
It is a big problem in this country. Men create more damage, but women hit more than men do.
Every year, there are more than 800,000 serious cases of women abusing men.
Again, nothing.
But confronted with this, what will people do when hidden cameras are rolling and our actress is out of control?
No.
One after another, people pass by and keep right on going. What will this woman do? At first, she seems to ignore the fight, but pauses a few paces down the path to watch. She tells us she didn't think this woman could pose any real physical threat.
It didn't look like any harm was being done. I didn't immediately think to protect the man at all.
Nobody does, and that's the whole point.
But now we're about to meet a woman whose reaction is instant, visceral. Watch closely.
No, get up. No.
Why don't you calm down?
What went through her mind?
Good for her. You go, girl.
Wow. Just wow. I really don't think I need to say anything at this point. This one just speaks for itself.
Linda McLuthie just assumed he had it coming to him. But why?
Maybe she caught him cheating or something like that, really bad, and then made her lose it.
We've seen it before, back when we taped our first experiment with that abusive boyfriend. We told our actors to trade places for just one take.
Tell me right now. Why? Why?
And later brought bystanders together to talk about what they'd seen.
My first thought was that he must have cheated on her.
I was thinking that same thing.
But you don't know that.
You don't, but...
You look guilty.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
She says this with no shame whatsoever. He looked guilty? Why? He doesn't look like a victim to you? He looked like a man, so I guess that automatically makes him guilty, right? It's amazing. The man is the one being beat up, and he is still the guilty one. I find it a little disturbing that they are laughing about this whole situation. So when they see a woman beating up a man, they think, oh, he must have had it coming. In particular, they usually think that he must have cheated on her. If that's the case, then he definitely deserved it. Even though they don't truly know the situation, they still take the woman's side. Now, if they saw a man hitting a woman, would they ever think she had it coming? Maybe she cheated on him? Nope, because once again, it's the man just being evil. Women never cheat. And even if they did, that is no reason for you to hit the woman, even though it's perfectly acceptable for the woman to hit a man for the very same reason. You see the double standards here? And it would be nice to hear these people say, well, I see how I had jumped to conclusions, and I had all these prejudices against men, and I really learned from this experience. I haven't heard any of them saying anything along the lines of, oh, I'll never do it again, or I'll know next time to not be so prejudiced. Haven't heard any of that so far. I mean, can you imagine being an innocent man on trial, and someone like this is on the jury? That could very well happen. Scary thought, isn't it?
And now, over and over again, when the victim is a man, so many women perceive him as guilty.
I figure, well, he probably deserved it.
Linda seems to think our feisty actress is a kind of role model.
I was thinking, oh, I'm pretty nice all the time. I should have done what she did sometimes.
But what about this guy?
You know what? Just Nate, come on!
Come on, what?
Whose side is he
You
on?
haven't said a freaking word to me about it.
We watch and record for hours and hours as 163 people just walk or jog right by.
Look at how many people went by without defending that guy. And this is kind of classic because female aggression is usually seen as not very important, not very deadly, nothing really to react to.
But just maybe things are about to change. Watch these women as they gather at a safe distance and map out a strategy. Now, one of them approaches.
Everyone wants to call the cops on you guys.
Excuse me?
Everyone wants to call the cops. You're not going to say anything?
It's actually like none of your business, so can you excuse me?
Oh, sorry. Well, if you need help, we'll help.
But when she retreats, they go at it again.
Look at me! Nate, stop ignoring me! What the? You're not even. Look, Nate! Hello! Hello!
And that's all it takes. This woman calls 911.
911, where's your emergency?
There's two people fighting on a bench. She's like beating him up. I was wondering if somebody could come just check it out.
But what would a cop do when a woman is abusing a man?
Self-centered.
Hi, guys. Why not call 911?
What they would have, they would just have a little tiff. It'd be all right.
I find it upsetting. I would find it more upsetting if he were putting his hands on her.
If you're wondering why they didn't call 911, well, he's a cop.
If it had been the man,
oh, without a doubt,
you would have stepped in.
Yeah. It's called old-fashioned views.
It's a double standard.
It is. What can I tell you? I mean,
But what can I tell you? I'll tell you exactly what you can tell him. You can tell him that from now on, you're going to be fair and impartial like you're supposed to be, and that being old-fashioned is not going to work. And I really wasn't too fond of what that woman said either. She would be more concerned if he had his hands on her. That would be more upsetting. Women can always say stuff like that without worrying about coming off as sexists.
if you're raised the way I was raised, you don't put your hands on them, right?
So what should you do if you see something like that?
Every individual has to do their own calculus when it comes to whether or not they should step in and help.
For these women, the calculus was simple.
The physical abuse, the verbal abuse, you shouldn't be hitting one another. I was concerned for both their safety.
And these women tell us the fact that the abuser is a woman makes no difference.
That is not an answer!
What matters is that someone needed help.
There's also a risk to not helping. And when we fail to help in a situation, it doesn't make us feel very good about ourselves.
I'd rather do the right thing than walk away and go home and regret it.
Do you think that these people are going to learn from the experience? That is to say, maybe next time they see a woman hitting a man, they'll think that maybe he didn't do something to deserve it, and maybe he really does need help. I get the feeling that they haven't changed their ways at all. And they'll think that if a woman hits a man, then he must have done something to deserve it. Whereas if he actually does the hitting, he is the bad guy still. So in other words, the man is always wrong in this situation no matter what he does. And the woman is always the innocent victim no matter what she does.